Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 10 live from Phillip Island, the Pony Express Sim Racing Endurance for Amateur Series. Once again, I am your live solo host tonight, Mr. JR Cop, as we get ready for round 10 in the Endurance for Amateur Series. And what a battle we've got going on here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get too far into this, we are going to make sure that all is working, because we've had some issues lately with sound. All right. Thanks to Mr. Tom Cormer. Looks like we had some more audio difficulties. Eventually, I'll get this figured out as we get underway. Paul Skip leading us off. Here we go. Here's your rundown. Paul Skip, Terry Kroger Jr., Ryan Tyler, David Lehman is in the field there. I did not see him earlier. Patrick Ripley, Daniel Higley, Brad McCombs, Tyler Langenberg, Joshua Lowe, Paul Boyle, Nick Terrell, Carlos Ramos, Ronnie Osmer, and Atticus Middleton taking the field here tonight in GTE. GT3, Benjamin Morales, Aaron Clayball, your points leader, followed by Carl Handwerk, Jimmy Covert, Nicholas Pletty, Mark Thomas, last week's winner, Andrew Molinowski, Marcus Osborne, Pony Express's own Zachary Nurberger, Tyler Watson, rounding out your top 10, followed by James Foreman, Adrian Vigil, Tony Watson, and Nami. That is how they're going to rack up here tonight as we get ready to finish up this parade lap. Pony Express, these guys do single file starts with no passing oftentimes until after turn 1. We're going to try once again to get our track map up there. And everything else wants to work tonight but the track map. Go figure. That's such is life sometimes running with SDK. As these guys get ready, the pace car pulls off. Mr. Paul Skip going to lead us to the start-finish line as we get underway for round 10 from Phillip Island. Pony Express Sim Racing Endurance for Amateurs. Hopefully everybody gets underway nice and clean at the beginning here. Paul Skip takes the green flag and he is underway. Coming down on cold tires. Hopefully these guys are able to get a nice clean start. Make sure everybody from... Looks like all is clear so far. They've made it past that. We're going to jump back in here to Benjamin Morales as the GT3 field gets underway. Nice clean start by everybody. Looks like Tyler Watts is a little off-track incident, but not an issue. All right, looks like everybody is underway as we come into the first hairpin. Looks like we got somebody getting in a little bit hot there. Right in front of Ronnie Osmer. All right. Looks like the GTE field is getting caught by the GT3 field here early on. Let's jump back up here to Mr. Paul Skip. All right. All right, I appreciate everybody with the helpful hints there on the YouTube channel. All right, looks like everybody is underway. Some clear sailing here tonight. As Paul Skip comes around, take your first lap. So far, it's been a nice, clean race. Atticus Middleton's jumped into the pits. Looks like he's had an off-track incident. Looks like the Porsche's out here 1 and 2, followed by Mr. Ryan Tyler in the BMW and David Lehman in the Porsche. And our first Ford of the night, Mr. Patrick Ripley, riding around in 5th place here tonight. That is your top 5 in GTE. GT3 looks like Benjamin Morales with Aaron Clayball right behind him. Carl Handwerk in the... Oh, Carl driving the BMW tonight. Now that's interesting. I've only seen Carl in the Ferrari, but Carl and Jimmy both tonight must figured out that BMW is the car for them tonight. And Nicholas Paletti just a little bit further back, so looks like Benjamin and Aaron and Carl have kind of separated themselves here a little bit as we are only on lap 2 as they dive down into that tight left-hander. Great passing for the guys tonight. Let's see if we can get this to work here. Trying to get the track map to pull up. There we go. Now we can at least see on track where these guys are at. Sometimes SDK gets a little confused. Sometimes it works just fine. All right. As we see, looks like Carl. Oh, Carl's going to have a move as... Oh, Aaron Claybaugh gets loose coming into that corner there. See if we can jump back here. Hopefully Aaron is able to get on track. And he is going to lose a lot of positions here tonight. In fact, it looks like Aaron has fallen all the way back to 12th position. Going to be 13th spot here almost for Aaron Claybaugh. Oh, let's see if we can go back and see exactly what happened there. Aaron Claybaugh, let's see here if it tells me where he went off track. All right, let's go back and see if we can find out what happens to Aaron here. I don't think there's any incident or contact. He just gets in a little bit too hot. Gets a little wide, yep, and you could see him sawing at the wheel trying to catch it. He's unable to do that, and unfortunately now, looks like Jimmy Covert has had an incident too, but you can see here, now he's backing up and he's getting stuck in that dirt. Able to get back on track, but unfortunately for Aaron, he's going to have a lot of catching up to do tonight. He's back on track. Well, what that's done is it's let Benjamin Morales and Carl Handwerk have, well, they've managed to pull away quite a bit. Now, I did the last race at Interlagos, and Benjamin Morales was fast all night long. Had a great race. And Carl, before that, was on a winning streak of 2 in a row. So this is not unfamiliar territory for each of these gentlemen. Meanwhile, up here, Mr. Paul Skip is leading this group of 5, and they've been pretty much in a battle all race long. As they come around here halfway through lap 4 at Phillip Island, coming up the hill. And you can see here they come into that downhill tight left-hander. Great passing zone for MotoGP. If anybody's a MotoGP fan, you see a lot of passing there. These guys look like they're kind of all got a nice little groove. They've top 3 here managed to put a little bit of a gap between them and Mark Thomas and Marcus Osborne. Or excuse me, that is Patrick Ripley. My bad. Wrong class. As we see, looks like Patrick Ripley is making a move on David Lehman, and he manages to pull that move off. Nice clean pass there by Patrick in that wonderful Ford GT. Now let's see if Mr. Ripley's got anything where he can start to pull some of that gap to Ryan Tyler. As the top 3 here are only separated by less than a second. Nice to see Paul Skip up there having a good race. In fact, unfortunately, David Lehman is only in 5th place, but as it stands right now, he would actually lose his lead in the championship with the way these guys are running. Let's see. Oh, Marcus Osborne's had an incident a little bit earlier. Let's see if we can see what happened to Marcus. Coming down into that tight left-hander, and he just gets in a little bit too deep, loses it. And oh, looks like everybody's able to clear him. Unfortunately, Marcus is stuck. No place to go there as he runs off just a little bit too far, but able to get that fired up and underway. And looks like Mr. Paul Boyle's had an incident. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Paul Boyle in his usual black and orange Porsche. Oh, just a little off track. That's not too bad. And let's see, and Tony Watson's had an incident while we were away. See what happens to Tony. It looks like he's just running it just a little bit wide. Yep, catches that back tire. Oh, and excuse me, Tony is I don't think we're supposed to be over there racing, Tony. That Porsche's got some good suspension on it. It's like a little bit of front end damage there. Luckily for Tony, those things, they do have a fast repair. He can hopefully be able to drive that around for a while.
Not the start Tony Watson was hoping to have here tonight, but a lot of time for him to make that up yet. As we jump on board again, Paul Skip, Terry Kroger Jr., and Ryan Tyler in a close battle here for first place early on in the Pony Express Endurance for Amateur Series. Coming to you live from Phillip Island. Thank you very much, Mr. Tom. Appreciate the heads up and the help. Sorry to see Tom can't make it out here tonight. Hopefully he is watching and doing some homework. Some things are more important than sim racing, such as your education. Nice to see Tom taking that seriously. Let's check down here. The battle between Benjamin Morales and Carl Hanworth. Carl is not going anywhere. For those of you that are familiar with the series, you'll know Carl, last season's GT3 champion. He is a master at strategy. He spends a lot of time testing out every strategy that he can come up with. Different cars. Should I take tires? Should I pit early? Should I pit late? If you ever want to know what strategy to take in a race and you're not quite right, get a hold of Carl Handwerk and he will help you. He's a master at strategy. Looks like Adrian's had an incident. See what happened to Adrian here. In that plus 30 racing. You can't miss that car. Looks like he's just going to catch the curbing. Oh, and he is not able to keep it off the wall. A big hit for Adrian. As you see, Adrian has he's tried to drive that around. Man, that's got a lot of damage to it. Sad to see for Adrian. Yep, he wisely pulls over. Or maybe not wisely. He's going to two-track that thing all the way to there and then get a tow. That's a shame for Adrian here tonight. Looks like Mr. Brad McCombs has had an incident. Let's see what happens to the System X machine. Looks like he's going to run a little wide. Just catch that grass. Oh, nice save, Mr. McCombs. Beautiful save. We have a battle here between Ronnie Osmer and Tyler Langenberg. See, Ronnie's going to pull in for the pass. Got the preferred inside line. Now, the problem is Tyler's got the inside line, so he's going to make that pass right back. We're going to jump down here and check out these two gentlemen live. As them two and Mr. Mark Dillon are in a battle here tonight for what would actually be 8th place. We're going to see if we can change Mark Dillon, who unfortunately is listed in a different class here tonight. So we are going to take, broadcaster's going to take a break for a second. We're going to leave you guys with some action as, there's some beating and banging going on with these boys tonight as they come across the line. You're right, well, we were going to take a little break, but I think we're going to stay with this. As Daniel Higley, Patrick Ripley, Mark Dillon are not having... Not showing any love to Mark Dillon there. So I'm going to leave it with these guys while I see if I can get Mr. Dillon fixed into the right class here. Welcome back, everyone. All right, is it really welcome back if you guys are here the whole time? Well, I'm back. Not sure if you caught earlier, I am coming to the end of this wonderful sinus infection cold, so still have the bad cough. So once in a while, I will be taking a break tonight to get a glass of water, cough up what's left of my left lung, and start working on the right one. Here we are, lap 11. Paul Skip is your leader in GTE over Terry Kroger Jr. And not far behind is Mr. Ryan Tyler. GT3, we've got a great battle between Benjamin Morales and Carl Handwerk, as these two have been nose to tail for this entire race. With Nicholas Pletty. Oh, looks like Carlos Ramos has had an incident. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Carlos. Hopefully, down into that tight left-hander and just gets in a little bit too deep. Hopefully Carlos is able to, there we go, get off, no big deal. And it looks like Jimmy Colbert's had an incident. Looks like he's in there a little bit too hot. My guess is he's going to catch the outside just a little bit. And yep, once you catch that edge, you see Zachary Nurberger right in front of him having the same issue. It just sucks you in over there. That's cost Jimmy a few spots, but no damage. He's able to get that machine up and rolling. Here we have Nicholas Paletti, currently in third place. Nicholas, who is second place in your overall points standing so far. He's got 10-point deficit to make up over one Mr. Aaron Clayball, who is not far behind. Well, not far behind in positions, but he is quite a ways away yet. He had a big incident earlier where he just ran in a little bit hot, and he has managed to climb his way from 14th position all the way back up into 5th. What an amazing race so far by Aaron Clayball, as he is a man on a mission. And Mark Dillon's had an incident. Oh no. What's happened to Mark Dillon in that GM Goodrich Corvette? What happens? He just gets in there a little bit hot. Well, now that's considered a crash in SDK. I'm a little sad. Let's check out, see what happened to Carlos Ramos again. Yep, just loses the back end. Comes around. Oh, able to stay out of everybody's way though. There, see, that's smart driving there. Back up. Make sure you don't get in anybody's way. Check your relatives. Paul Skip and Terry Kroger Jr. is right on his tail. Ryan Tyler falling back just a little bit. These guys are running pretty consistent lap times. Let's see if we can find that. So it looks like, well, here we can throw it up on the screen as well. There we go. Paul Skip running 2:15.1s. Put a little gap there on Terry Kroger Jr. 0.4 of a second that last lap. Give Paul a little bit of breathing room as he's managed to sneak out almost 0.8 of a second over Terry Kroger Jr. Try to find some close battles here on track. It's like Paul Boyle and Patrick Ripley got a little battle going on, huh? Not too bad. Paul Boyle having a nice race tonight. There's not much separation between the GT3 and the GTE field tonight. Only about 3 seconds. 2.5, 3 seconds. So, in fact, less than 2 seconds between the leader of each class. So not a big gap here at Phillip Island for class differential, which means passing different classes is going to be a struggle. Oh no! Oh, Carl Handwork in second place. Gets in a little bit too hot and locks it up. Slides that rear end and... Oh, what a shame. Carl having such a great race. Able to get that BMW back underway. Oh! And that causes Carlos Ramos, who's trying to avoid that. Poor Carlos, just a innocent bystander. And that, lucky for him, he is able to keep that one off the wall as well. Well, Benjamin Morales just got to be breathing in a big sigh of relief. He was been in a battle for 20 minutes with Carl. Now he's found himself with an 8.5 second lead. And now Carl is going to find himself in a battle to hold that second place with Nicholas Paletti. Looks like Nick Terrell's had an incident. See if we can find out what happened to Nick. Oh, just gets in there a little bit hot. He keeps his foot in it though. Able to get that G.M. Goodrich Corvette back on track. No damage. Little hurt pride and some lost positions as Carl, ooh, almost runs it wide again. Well, here we are, lap 15. Carl has found himself a little bit out of sorts. Not, I'm sure, what he thought was going to happen tonight. Meanwhile, Paul Skip and Terry Kroger Jr. are not going to let this battle go. Last lap time, Paul Skip a 124.4. Terry Kroger Jr. a 124.39. Ryan Tyler with a 124.32. Pulled back a little bit of time on these guys. Yeah, in fact, Ryan Tyler has managed to pull back almost a full second on second place Terry Kroger Jr. and first place Mr. Paul Skip. As our battle for GTE looks like it's going to be an hour and 40 minutes long. Just some great racing. Down here a little bit further, we got a nice little battle between Nick Terrell and Joshua Lowe. Now this battle is for 10th position in GTE. I am not familiar with Josh. He might have been around last week or another week, but I do not see him on the GTE point schedule, so he may be a new driver. A lot of times these guys join in a little bit late and they don't get added to the point sheet for a race or two and make sure that they're gonna stay for a little bit. Looks like Jimmy Covert's had another issue. I'm wondering if the different car for Jimmy and Carl tonight is causing them a little bit of issues. It looks like they're just having some brake bias issues. Now that BMW is a little bit bigger machine, handles a little bit differently than the Ferrari that they're used to driving. And I know they guys do a lot of laps, but sometimes you're so used to driving one car and you're used to how it handles under braking that you jump in a different car and you know, you do a lot of laps in it, but you don't, that muscle memory kicks in. Looks like Ronnie Osmer's had an incident. Now Ronnie and Patrick Ripley have been in a little bit of a battle here. Ronnie just gets in a little bit hot, runs it wide. And you got to get it going so slow so you get some traction on that grass, and then you end up into the gravel trap. But Ronnie's able to keep it out of the tire wall. back on track. As Mr. Paul Boyle is going to take advantage of that. Ronnie's still getting back up to speed. Oh, we got an incident here. Looks like Andrew Malinowski has had an incident. See what happens to Andrew. I wonder if he's got some help from Jimmy. No, he doesn't. He just gets in there a little bit wide. Now that looked almost like a case of Andrew knowing that their faster car's coming, and he's just trying to give him room. And he got off his normal racing line, and I understand it. We've all been there. We've all done that. Unfortunately for Andrew, kind of a victim of being the nice guy is what that looks like to me. As we are 25 minutes in. I do not know what the pit strategy is for these guys tonight. But they do run a little bit different. They do not run 100% fuel tanks. Force these guys usually to a two-stop strategy. And another thing that might be causing issues for some of these guys is the latest iRacing build came out, and there was some changes to all of these cars, and I know they had to switch the fixed setup for tonight's race, so these guys might not have had a lot of time to experiment and to test with that new setup, and that could be throwing some of these guys off too. I know there was some aero changes that were made to how these cars handled. I'm just wondering if the unfamiliarity with the BMW coupled with the iRacing changes have caused these guys a few issues. Seems to be a lot of guys having issues, and it's issues that these guys normally don't make. You don't see Jimmy Covert and Carl running off track like that. So it's another thing to keep in mind as we watch Paul Skip here. Who at this point, if they did make changes to his car and they changed the aero setup and they changed the high downforce or the medium downforce package, it doesn't seem like it's affecting him as he stretched out his lead with the help of some back markers. He's coming up on the back of the GT3 field, and that's allowed him to put a little gap between him and Terry Kroger Jr. On the opposite hand, what it's done to Terry is it's put him right in the clutches of one Mr. Ryan Tyler. So we are going to step away for a minute, and I am going to go get a drink of water and wet my throat. And we're going to leave you with the battle here between Terry Kroger Jr. and Ryan Tyler here on the Pony Express Sim Racing YouTube channel. Again, I'm your host, JR Kopp. Thank you very much for stopping by today and listening. I appreciate it. As we watch round 10 from Phillip Island Endurance for Amateur Series, I shall be back in a moment.
Alright everyone, I am back. Although I'm pretty sure most of you probably didn't even realize I was gone. Again, my name is JR Cup and I am coming to you live from Phillip Island. Although I really wish I was in Phillip Island, Australia right now. It's gotta be warmer than it is here. Round 10 of the Pony Express Endurance for Amateur Series. As you see the battle here between Paul Skip, Terry Kroger Jr., and Ryan Tyler as they battle for the lead in GTE. Down in GT3, you have your leader, a very lonely but happy Benjamin Morales, who's got an 8-second lead over Carl Handwerk. Now, 8-second lead sounds like a lot, but Carl was 9 seconds behind 5 laps ago. As he added an incident earlier. And he's about 0.3 a lap faster right now. So we'll keep an eye on that battle as we still have quite a bit of racing to go here tonight. An hour and 40 minutes these guys are going to run to decide the winner here, round 10. We jump along here with third place Nicholas Paletti in that wonderfully beautiful Payday car. Fourth place we have Mark Thomas, your current points leader, Aaron Claybaugh, who has managed to work his way all the way up into 5th place. For those of you just joining us, Mr. Claybaugh was running around in 2nd at lap 3, had an off-track incident, and unfortunately where he was at, he had to wait for the entire GT3 field to go by him before he could get back on track. So he was in dead last place and has managed to work his way all the way back up to 5th place. I know it shows overall he's down 3 positions from where he started, but what a drive so far by Aaron Claybaugh, your current series leader in GT3. We'll keep an eye on Aaron as well tonight. Meanwhile, Paul Skip has managed to put himself a almost 3-second lead now over Terry Kroger Jr., who is in a very heated battle with Mr. Ryan Tyler. As we see, looks like Terry Kroger Jr. is coming in the pits. This is the first of our leaders to pit. So we are lap 25 for pit stops. So right around the 35-minute mark. Now you're going to see some different strategies for these guys based on how many times they think they're going to have to come in. As you start to see here now, we got Terry Kroger Jr. in the pits. We got Ronnie Osmers pulled into the pits. Paul Boyle, Nick Terrell, everybody's starting to dive into pit road. Ryan Tyler and Paul Skip are staying out. Looks like David Lehman is also going to stay out for another lap. Patrick Ripley. So that's really going to shake up our field here a little bit. See where everybody cycles in at. Paul Skip and Ryan Tyler staying out on track. Imagine they'll be in the next lap or two. See, here's Benjamin Morales. Let's see if looks like he's going to stay out for at least one more lap, as none of our GT3 guys have decided to pit yet. Benjamin's asking, and Marcus Osborne, like a gentleman that he is, pulls over and lets him go by. Marcus, who's lap down now, does not want to be the man in the conversation after the race. Meanwhile, like I talked about, Carl Handwerk has managed to shave off 2 seconds of Benjamin's lead so far. So he is, I would imagine, driving a little bit angry after a self-induced mistake earlier.
Hey, JR, you got a copy?
Well, Mr. Mark Dillon, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, sir. Were you racing or were you just turning laps earlier?
I wouldn't call anything I do racing.
Well, I wasn't sure. Normally,
Mark, you jump in and you run the first lap, and then you pull over and you dump out the race. But so I wasn't sure if you were just thought you were feeling good and thought you'd stick around. What brings you into the booth?
So, last week we implemented our new rules. If you get 20X, you get a drive-through, and every 6X after that, we really wanted to clean up the racing.
Yes.
And so I ran Sebring, proved that you could run the whole race and not get any incidents. It can be done. We don't have to be so aggressive. So tonight I was going to do the same thing in the GTE class. This is my favorite track on iRacing. This, to me, I know you like Bath. I like Phillip Island.
Perfect.
And at least they're both in Australia, right?
But well, see, maybe there's a thing there.
So I figured I could do this in the GTE, no practice, and prove that it can be done in either class. There's a lot of runoff here, though, and once you touch a blade of grass, you're really just along for the ride. And after I went off the track a fourth time, I was like, all right, obviously I'm not proving anything, so I'm done.
Figured save yourself the drive-through penalties.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Speaking of GTE field, though, I don't know if you noticed, it looks like Brad McCombs had another off track, and so he retired. And Ronnie Osmer, it looked like he got a speeding penalty on pit entry, so he also retired.
Well, that's a shame those guys are dropping out. Yeah, it's just starting to pop up. I don't get the reasons why. Unfortunately, SDK doesn't show me that.
Yeah, I had to go back and look at the replay. It just looked like Ronnie Osmer came in super hot, locked up the brakes, and I saw that he got a black flag, and he must have decided that was his race and called it a night. Brad was a lap down from, I don't know what happened earlier. He was a lap down while I was racing, and then I see he went off the track again and must have decided it's just going to be a drop week.
Yep. And that is one of the good things about this league is you do get 3 drop weeks. So if you're having a bad race, sometimes it's better to just pull the plug rather than get frustrated and angry.
Actually, 4 this season.
For this season.
Because of the Canadian Tire fiasco.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. But so yeah, these guys actually get 4 drop weeks this season.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like we've got quite a few people have already decided tonight's the night.
Well, Atticus is doing Atticus things. Tyler Watts, his VR took a dump, so that's what got him. I don't know what it got Adrian, and then obviously you already know what happened to me, Brad, and Ronnie. So.
Yep. Yeah, I think Adrian, he had a rough first couple of laps. He smacked the wall pretty good twice, and so I think he may have just said that it wasn't his night at the moment, and he's been in the pits for quite a while.
Looking at the racing, though, Terry goes by Carlos, trying to chase back down Ryan Tyler for second place.
Yeah, I didn't see. Now Terry was ahead.
Yeah,
I think
just pit cycle.
Just from pit cycling.
Well, Terry was actually a 1/10 of a second faster on pit road. Terry had the fastest pit stop, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was trying to go back and
Yeah.
see if Terry had an incident.
Ryan Tyler does have the fastest lap of the race so far, though.
Yeah, Ryan. It took him a few laps to get up to speed, but man, once he's got a rhythm down, he was on it. Although his fastest lap is. Oh wait, there we go, Ryan Tyler. Yeah, he's 1/10 of a second over Paul Skip. Who's currently leading, but these guys are all really close. I mean, the top 4 are within a 1/10 of each other, less than a 1/10, 5/100ths. As far as fastest lap's concerned.
I know David Lehman had a big off track earlier, so that's why he's 15 seconds back. But
yes, same with down in GT3. Benjamin and Carl were. And Carl had a big off and was actually 9 seconds back, and he's managed to claw back a couple seconds already.
Yeah, I saw them on my relative. I saw Carl was leading for a while, but.
Yep, so they've managed to swap that around. And actually, I don't know, you were probably in the race. Aaron Clayball was in second position, had an off track, and had to let the entire GT3 field go by before he could safely pull back on track, and has managed to pull himself back up into 5th place. So
I feel the pain. My first off track, I had to let the whole GTE field go by
yes,
before I could get back on, and then it just escalated from there.
yeah, we showed it. In fact, Aaron Claybaugh goes by. Who is off track there? It looks like James Foreman's had another incident. Like I said, you catch that. As soon as you catch that grass, there's nothing you can do.
No. Luckily,
grabs
there's
you.
there's a lot of runoff here, so
Yeah.
I mean, you can definitely slide all the way to the wall, but there is a lot of room for mistakes here.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those sweeping corner momentum kind of tracks where, every corner kind of leads into the next one. And then you all of a sudden get pounded with that downhill left-hander. And we've seen a lot of people go off. No, I have, in fact, I've owned this track now, as I talked about earlier, for 2 hours now. I bought it just for tonight.
Oh man, you're missing out. This is a great track.
I've done hundreds and hundreds of laps on this in MotoGP, but I've never done one lap in it in a car.
The motorcycles race over here. I bet that's interesting with the elevation changes.
Oh, it's a blast.
Trying to keep the front tire on the ground.
Well, you spend half trying to keep the front tire and the other half trying to keep the back tire.
Yeah. We were just talking about MotoGP the other night. I've been watching the game year after year, thinking about buying it, and I finally decided that when 22 comes out in April, I'm going to buy it.
Gonna give it a try.
Yeah, so next month I'll finally try one out. Yeah, this is a great track. I like it in the open wheel stuff. The Skip Barber's here is a blast.
Yes.
F3 cars, a lot of fun.
It's a fun track. I've just never driven it in a car. And in fact, I had to put all my iRacing setup back in because, as you know, Gran Turismo 7 came out. And that is where all of my occupied time has gone.
Uh-oh. Man, we got any good battles going on?
Actually, there's not. Everybody's kind of spaced them out.
Well,
Jimmy
so
Colbert and Nami.
It looked like 7th, 8th, and 9th were bunched up in the GTE field, but
Yep.
not anymore.
Not anymore. Jimmy Covert and Nami they're about the closest position battle, but looks like Jimmy's I noticed Jimmy and Carl driving the BMW tonight. Kind of I hadn't seen that before for those two. And oddly enough, that's the most issues I've ever seen Jimmy have in a car. Now, Mark, I saw your
a few people in the Beamer tonight.
Yeah, I saw your message beforehand that some new changes to the downforce and to the fixed setups tonight. Is that correct?
Well, so we had the new iRacing build come out Tuesday, and they did a massive overhaul on these GT3 cars. They really changed up the aero and the tires. So there's more aero downforce, more aero drag. But the tires are a little bit stickier, and they're supposed to wear more.
Okay.
You can still drive them for 2 hours, but you're going to notice a difference. You are going to notice the tire wear. And so because the new build came out, obviously we had to, that made all our setups threw them all out the window. So tonight, we're just running the default iRacing high downforce setups. And when we tried doing that threw the Beamer out the window with our 65% fuel setting. So normally all season you've seen these GT3 cars with 65% fuel making 2 pit stops per race. For the remainder of the season, starting tonight, they do have the GT3 cars have 100% fuel and will only need to stop once.
Oh, okay.
Which that's what we're doing next season anyways. So it kind of, the way it worked out, it just meant we had to start doing it 4 weeks early.
Understandable. Now, Mark, there's a special race. Is it tomorrow night that we're having a special race at Bathurst, or is that next Thursday?
Tomorrow night. So we got the new Aston Martin GT4 car, and everybody's excited about GT4. So tomorrow night we're going to do a practice race, GT3s and GT4s at Bath, because that's, if you can race at Bath, you can race anywhere. So we'll do that tomorrow night, see how that goes, and we may end up allowing GT4s next season.
Okay, so are you thinking GTE, GT3, and GT4 all on the track at one time?
Well, no, GTE is going away. That's definite. Because the GTEs are dead in real life, don't exist anymore, and so we might as well kill them off too. No point beating a dead horse. So our current plan for next season was to go back to our GT3A, GT3B formula, where the B cars would have 5% power reduction and a little bit of weight added. But if we add the GT4, it'll still be the same. We'll probably still go with that same formula. It'll be GT4, GT3B, and GT3A. Well, there'll be 3 classes, but
okay.
And it's all a progression system. We'll move people up. Somebody wins the GT4 or GT3B championship, they're going to get bumped up to GT3A the following season. The GT3A guys are going to get bumped up to our new series, Dark Horse Endurance, which will have GT3s and LMP2s. So it's all part of our new progression system to keep new beginner drivers coming in, and more experienced guys moving up and up the ranks, and see if anybody can get up to DHE and knock Dennis off the top spot.
Right? Exactly. So yeah, that's a lot of cool stuff coming up for next season.
I'm watching this battle here for who is this? Daniel Hingley, Tyler Langenberg, battling for 7th and 8th spot in the GTE cars. This is one of the best battles I've found on the track here.
Now, you were involved in this battle for a brief moment. We were watching on the broadcast, and it doesn't look like Daniel Higley did you any favors coming down the front straight there.
Oh, yeah. So we had... Well, I was actually letting him go.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
gets it in there a little bit hot. Oh, Marcus Osborne. Hold on one second. Let's see what happened to Mr. Osborne. I really wish SDK would tell you the severity of the crash, because it just says Marcus Osborne has crashed, which means he probably put a tire wrong and he spun. Okay. Well, sorry for that interruption, Marcus. Oh, Tyler Langenberg.
Marcus is crashing right now. Oh, Marcus is dead.
Marcus crashed again?
Oh, yeah. He is dead. That is not going to go over well. I hope he hasn't used his fast repair yet.
So that's the one we watched earlier. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Marcus Osborne.
Yeah, just turn 1, got loose and drove it head on straight into the wall.
Oh, let's see what happens here. He's coming in turn 1.
And he does have a meatball.
Oh, Marcus Osborne. Yes, that is going to ruin his day.
Oh, and now he's trying to limp it around the pit road, but it's in rough shape.
Well, that battle with Daniel Higley and Tyler Langenberg, Daniel has managed to finally get around Tyler, and he is driving away.
Yeah, no, nobody did me wrong in that battle. I was staying over to the right, letting them go. Obviously, I don't want to affect the points or affect anybody's race. So I was letting him go, and it was Patrick Ripley who took us 3 wide. But that's because Patrick Ripley was running up front, and he had an off track, and so he was just trying to get back to the front. It was all good. I'm pretty good at driving out of my mirrors, and I knew what was going on.
Mark's used to getting punted around.
Or passed.
Or
Oh, man, I'm not sure what Marcus is doing, but he did not hit pit road. So, Marcus going another.
Jimmy Covert's had an incident. Let's see what happens to Jimmy.
Oh, Marcus is off the track again. Into
Jimmy's had
the
an
sand
incident.
trap.
See what happened to Marcus. Actually, that car doesn't look too bad for as bad as he hit the wall.
Doesn't, but I think he has a meatball and has to pit.
Oh, yep.
He is at 14X too, so he's climbed up on a drive-through. Carlos Ramos also at 16. Those are the only two in double digits who are approaching 20. Obviously, we still have 47 minutes to go. Oh, there's someone off. Joshua Lowe off the track behind Marcus there in the hairpin.
Joshua's making that pass on Marcus. Oh, yeah, he gets it in way too deep.
But I spent a lot of time behind Joshua in the few laps that I was out there, and I think he may need to adjust his brake bias because he was locking the tires up.
Yeah, he did seem like as soon as he got on the binders there, that rear end just locked up tight.
But yeah, I think he's got some brake bias issues that he probably needs to address.
I haven't seen Joshua before. He must be last couple weeks.
Yeah, I think this is his second race, maybe third.
Okay. Well, it's nice to see some new people here.
Prefer it if they weren't faster than me, but
Well, meanwhile,
I don't set the bar high.
Ryan Tyler has definitely found some pace, and he was a full 3 seconds behind Paul Skip earlier, and now he is right on the tail.
Yes, he is.
And Ryan is fast. He gets in a rhythm, and once he gets going, boy, he tends to find pace. And Paul Skip is no slouch.
No, both of these guys have won this season. I was just telling these guys last week, through what, 8 races, 9 races, and we've had 7 different winners in the GTE class.
Yeah, it just goes to show you the parity of the league and also how hard these guys are pushing. You know, nobody is giving anybody anything, which is great. That's what you want. But they're doing it clean. Nice to see they're making passes and they're running clean.
Here we go. These guys trying to get around
Past
Marcus here.
Marcus, hopefully he's going to hold that line out there and ease up and let these guys go by and not hold anybody up. Nice job, Marcus. I don't know, Marcus. He's doing another lap, so maybe I think might have already used his fast repair. Oh, no, he just pulled over. I see he stopped there, unless he's missed pit road. And now he pulled over. Now he's pulling back on the track.
He might not know where pit road
is. I don't think he knows. He's had another incident.
There we go. He's towing. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if he's not familiar with pit road.
Yeah, Marcus might be taking a drop week, he looks like.
Oh, all right. Ryan Tyler and Paul Skip are going to keep battling here, I think. It's nice to see these guys. Now, GTE, they're going to have to do 2 pit stops?
Yes. Yep. Because they've already pitted once.
Yeah.
So they
should be coming up here probably in about the next 10 minutes.
10, 15 minutes probably.
Yep. Yeah, they jumped in at the 35-minute mark. They did their first pit stop.
Gotcha.
Looks like GT3 field has started their pit stops. I see Benjamin Morales in, Mark Thomas is in, Carl Hanworks made his pit stop. That's going to really shuffle up and stick these guys back out into the middle of traffic.
Benjamin Morales is a machine, man. He is fast.
And consistent. He does not... His lap times are so consistent the entire race.
Yeah, if he hadn't gotten disconnected at Sebring, he had that race won last week. Tough break for him, but
And
yeah,
he ran that way at Interlagos too.
oh yeah, I mean, he's showing up every week a full second faster than the whole field. It brings back memories of Carter McColeman and Michael McCoy. He's
Yep.
fast.
I talked to Carter the other day. He's doing good. He's attending school at the moment.
As of right now, I believe Benjamin Morales plans on moving up to DHE next season and battling Dennis Diaz in the LMP2 class.
Awesome.
So that'll be interesting.
Well, he definitely has the pace to do it. And it's not even the pace. He's just so consistent. He's fast, but he's consistent. You know, just similar to the way Dennis drives. He's just fast, but every lap it's just a repeat. It's like watching, Groundhog's Day. So Benjamin has made his pit stop, and I'm not sure what happened to the rest of these guys, but man, he has found himself 26 seconds in the lead now.
I have to wonder if everybody else took tires and he didn't. Because it does look like there's several people had 3 or 4 seconds faster on pit road
Well,
than him.
Yeah. It looks like Carl took tires. He was in for a minute. Even that
Yeah.
seems longer than tires.
Yeah, but Aaron Claybaugh was 4 seconds faster than Benjamin Morales.
Yep.
I don't know.
Benjamin
some
did
different
pit a
pit
couple
strat-
laps later. He pitted 2 laps later, so what's a gallon of fuel is about a second a gallon, somewhere in there?
Meanwhile, we've got a new race leader. Ryan Tyler has gotten by Paul Skip. But they're stuck behind Mark Thomas right now. It is not easy to pass on this track.
No, it's not. And there's only a 3-second a lap time difference, so it's not like some of these tracks where these guys are just flying by you.
Yeah, no. Oh, there we go. Ryan Tyler going to try and put that GT3 car between them.
Yep. Hopefully Mark Thomas gets out of the way here.
Mark Thomas is no slouch. He's got at least one win in the GT3 class.
Correct. Yeah, he's not slow, but you don't want to see him holding up Paul Skip either. There we go, as he lets Paul go by.
Yeah, in qualifying, seeing how fast Benjamin Morales was compared to me in the GTE, I was like, oh man, I don't think I'm finishing ahead of that guy.
Yeah, we weren't even at the end of lap 1, and he'd already caught the back of the GTE field.
Yeah, oh yeah. Every time I'd go off track, I would look at my relative, and he'd be 4 seconds behind me. I couldn't shake him.
These guys are going to get stuck here the next couple laps fighting with some GT3 guys.
Man, that's tight.
That was close. Ryan Tyler, you could see him lock it up there trying to stay off of Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos is at 18 too, so he's doing everything he can not to get that drive through. Oh, he's going out pit road anyways.
These guys are going to come up on traffic here for the next couple laps.
It does look like Marcus Osborne has left. Joshua Lowe has left.
Oh, our good buddy Zach's had an instance. See what's happened to Mr. Nürburger. Well, looks like a very uneventful crash at this point. Oh, well, that's odd.
Yeah, he just disappeared and got towed.
Yep, got towed. I'm not sure what happened there.
And now he's gone. Oh, he left. Manually disconnected.
Okay, so another one out. Zach's out for the evening.
I don't know why. He only had 4 incidents. And
Ryan Tyler! Big incident. Ryan Tyler gets it wrong. And that's going to cost him at least 1 position, maybe 2. As Terry Kroger is right on him now.
Yeah, coming out of that hairpin.
Yep.
Or no, the next turn after the hairpin, he just got the braking wrong.
Yep.
Paul Skip able to get by. Luckily, he had some clear track to get back on.
Yes. Yep. Was able to.
But now Terry
cause-
can see him.
Yeah. So Terry's going to have him in his sights.
Oh, speaking of, Zach is in here with us. Zach, what happened?
I'll spare you the details. Just wasn't feeling good, so.
Oh, I gotcha.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. This wasn't feeling good, wasn't getting comfortable, so then I ended up crashing, taking a fast repair, crashed again, car had damage. I'm just not feeling tip-top shape. You know, it just went
Thomas
away.
off the
Mark
track.
Thomas has an off track.
Yeah, right in front of Ryan Tyler there.
But yeah, a couple incidents and just not feeling up to it. Out of safety points and all that, so. Drop weed.
Well, we're sorry that happened to you, Zach. But nice to
And
have you
part of
stop by the
racing.
broadcast.
And it's all part of racing.
You're not the only one. We've got, what, eight people out of the race so far?
Are we at 8?
1, 2, yeah, 9. 9 people out of the race so far.
9, yep.
So yeah, Paul Skip was back out to a 4-second. Uh-oh, what happened to Paul Skip?
He's still out there. At least he shows on mine.
Oh, that must just have been a weird part of the track. My relative, it just all of a sudden shrunk by 3 seconds.
He's
And then
5.5
yeah.
seconds on Ryan Tyler.
Yeah, trying to pass. Who is that? Carl? Or Jimmy Covert? There
Jimmy
we go.
Covert. Jimmy lets him go by. Well, while I got you on the podcast, oh, it looks like, is that Paul Boyle? Yeah, Paul
Yep.
Boyle's had an incident in that. Tends to be a popular space there tonight. But while you're in the broadcast here, Mr. Zach, are you planning on joining the podcast Friday night? Are you going to be available, sir?
I'm always ready to go. Yeah, I'm definitely interested. Just you tell me the time and place and I'll be there.
Okay. Well, I know you guys have a couple different leagues going on Friday nights, and I don't want to interfere with that. I want to take away from the racing.
So
We should be, plenty of time.
I told you about all of the GT3 changes in the new build.
Yes.
But I've only done one lap in a GT3 car, so Zach probably has more input on how the GT3 car feels now.
Yeah, Zach, we talked a little bit about some of these guys were having some. The guys that you don't normally see having handling issues were struggling to have some issues tonight. How different is the car with the new build? Because you've always ran the Ferrari, so how different does it feel post build?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. When they said they did updates, this was no like 10 kilobyte, change the ARB one click. They talked a lot about adding some downforce to the high and the medium speed stuff and taking it off in the low. Obviously, the new damage model, I tested that out today. It works. For better or for worse. But yeah, so you see, the one thing I noticed, especially with the tires, is I guess taking it through the track, going down through 1 and 2. Before, once the car kind of stepped out, it was just kind of, the tires used to just kind of be constant temperature the entire time. Now they peak a little bit more, but now with like the latest update, there's a lot more like the edge grip, if that makes sense. You can really start to feel it like kick out and then just counter steer it, catch it, kick out, counter steer it, catch it all the way through the corner like 3 or 4 times. And then going down, I think it's turn 10. Mark, what I'm talking about, that like uphill left-hander. He just dips down to the right before you get back on the straight. Going through there, when they said they took off that low-speed downforce, you can really feel it. Because that car gets that compression, you turn in when you have that grip on the compression. But as soon as it lifts back up, you notice that lack of downforce. And that was something I know Marcus was struggling with. I had to catch it a couple times through there. It's very different. It's a lot more, I feel like you can feel the car a lot more, if that makes sense. But you
Yeah.
also have to be careful, especially with rear tire temps too, going through the high speed stuff.
Did you make it to green flag pit stops?
I got a meatball on the hour mark, and then I was fuel saving to make it, and then I just haven't been feeling good for that middle stint of the race, and then
Gotcha. I was just
Yeah,
wondering if you ended up seeing how tire wear was looking.
I was about 90% on the left side, front and back, 80% on the right sides. So it's not, I don't know. I want to say it's not too much worse, but it is a cold track, so 80% on a cold track. But it's also so lopsided, you know, so you're obviously wearing on them more than normal. I think it's going to take more than just this one race to kind of, you know, Marcus always talks about, you know, never take tires, never take tires, never take tires. And I think it just needs a couple tracks in different scenarios. So maybe something like Watkins Glen again is still going to be a lot harder on him. But yeah,
Or
I think that's
even
time will tell.
or even next season when we extend the race another 10 minutes. 110 minutes with this new tire model might be pushing it.
Well, and you also got to remember we're going to have heavier fuel now too. So you know you're throwing that fuel tank through the corners. That's another. I mean, what, 15 gallons? I don't know, 5 pounds a gallon. You know, that's some ballast right there. That you're throwing that thing around. So it's
We're
going to
throwing
have an effect.
Going to be throwing some extra weight on those GT3B cars too.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting. I mean, obviously in real life they would have ballast that they can place anywhere and use that to their advantage. I think iRacing just kind of makes everything heavier, just kind of in general. So I don't know if it affects tire wears necessarily, but we're going to find out one way or another.
Yeah, iRacing just puts 50 pounds of paint on the car.
Yeah, it just kind of
So it's-
it's just kind of everything. Just kind of it's like gravity increased a little bit. That's kind of how it feels like.
Evenly
Yes.
balanced.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no Patrick Ripley setup master. I'm gonna throw this right on the front axle sort of deal. You know, this is just, you know, turn up the gravity a little bit. That's what it feels like. Interesting to see how the oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say interesting to see with the new damage model on these too. You used to kind of bump and bang these things a little bit. You're gonna get punished with that a little bit more now too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't.
Marcus killed it
haven't-
in turn 1.
Yeah, there's been quite a bit of action going on. I'm not sure what happened. I was watching this battle here with Tony Watson and Jimmy Covert, and all of a sudden Tony just kind of pulled over and let Jimmy come by, and I'm not sure there was no off track or no incident.
Well, I can tell you this about Tony, having raced with him for several seasons, and even racing with him at NERP 24. Tony is hands down one of the cleanest drivers in the league.
Oh,
He,
without a doubt.
Definitely, he will. If he thinks, I'm sure if he probably just figured Covert was faster and let him go.
Yep. Picked an opportune time so it wouldn't cost either one of them time. Speaking
Yeah,
of NERP,
Tony's very clean.
so if you listen to the latest podcast, Renee Butler came on. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, you should listen to it. He's got a lot of great insight on everything sim racing, but he lives right next door to the Nürburgring. Like, he has to drive past the track basically to get to and from work. And it's $2,500 a year. You get a pass to go turn as many laps there as you want, as long as it's not closed for racing.
Well, it would probably, in my Dodge Ram pickup truck, it would probably take me half an hour to do a lap.
Yeah, but you know what? You could do it every single day.
Well,
Just on your way home from work, run a lap.
how many laps are people going to be doing with these gas prices?
Well,
I don't know if I could make it around there on a tank of gas. I can't afford it.
well, you know what? I would love to give it a try, though. Wouldn't you? You would do it once. You just
Sure.
have to.
Yeah.
Mark and hope he doesn't put himself on YouTube corner.
What's YouTube corner? Is that the one with the weird banking on the inside?
I think
No, it's the
I
one where
made
you
the joke
jump.
and I don't know. It's the one at the dip, right? JR?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. It's the dip and then that right-hander. Everyone always gets caught in the gravel trap and
Yep.
has to explain to their insurance company what they were doing.
How they weren't at the Nürburgring.
Yeah, definitely you're not doing that at all.
I had to do that once. So I was driving this Volkswagen Jetta
Oh,
or
Paul
something.
Skip coming in for his second pit stop. Sorry, and Ryan Tyler right behind him. That's going to bring our top two.
We'll see if anyone's taking tires here. Oh, I'm not
Carl,
too like the GT
Carl
guys.
took tires.
Let's see. We got Paul Skip, him, and Ryan Tyler right behind him. Both clean entries too.
But yeah, on Carl's pit stop, I think he's the only one who took all 4 tires.
Yeah.
Paul Skip's
Let's
already
see.
out.
And Patrick Ripley coming in
right
to the
behind.
pit stop. Paul Skip and Ryan Tyler both out.
Yeah, very similar pit stop
Yeah.
time.
0.2 of a second difference is all. Terry Kruger is out.
Looks like Terry lost 1 second
Yep.
on pit road.
Patrick Ripley in now. Slides into his box.
Patrick Ripley.
No, I feel
man.
bad.
Paul
We
Skip
haven't
is faithful.
we haven't talked about poor Benjamin Morales. The last time I did a broadcast, I felt guilty too. He led the entire race, and I hardly talked about him. He gets out there to such a commanding lead that you almost forget that he's racing.
Yeah, because he's racing the other class.
It's kind of what it feels like. Carl
He's
back
hanging
there.
down eighth overall between 15 GTEs.
Yeah.
8th overall, still in the lead lap.
Yes, he is. Oh, Paul Boyle's had an incident. See what happened to Mr. Boyle. I just caught that as I was watching Carl. Looks like Paul just gets there a little bit hot. He's going to catch that
Oh.
outside curb, and yep.
Yeah,
Like
and
we
you can
talked about,
see
Mark,
just
once
when
you
that,
catch it, nothing you can do about it.
and you can see, especially in that corner, where that green runoff strip ends, there's
Yeah.
still a little bit of dirt carved out. So obviously people have been taking liberties and Paul a little bit too far.
And just like last week at Sebring, even though we're at a track that a lot of these guys aren't familiar with,
Oh,
they're
who is that? Was that Terry Kroger has had an incident, and that cop Carl gets caught up in Terry's incident. So let's take a look what happened to Terry coming onto the front straight. Looks like he runs it just a little bit wide and catches that dirt. Hits the inside barrier pretty hard, and then he's backing up, and unfortunately he catches. Well, he doesn't catch Carl per se, but
I'm gonna
Carl
actually-
trying to avoid that. Oh, what a shame for Carl. As Terry right in the middle of the track. Oh, Carl spins back in front, manages to keep it off the wall, and he's trying to do everything he can to just get out of the way.
I gotta wonder if Terry didn't net code into Carl.
I'm actually looking at. I'm in the sim, and I'm gonna actually take a look.
I don't. And
And-
Carl.
So Terry had a splitter's width to Carl.
Yep, I'd say it didn't look like it. I think Carl just came around the corner with so much speed he tried to avoid Carl, or tried to avoid Terry, and Carl went right straight to the pit. He just towed. I wonder if he's
I'm gonna see. I wonder if it technically the netcode maybe smashed up his right rear, possibly. I'm gonna see if he's running a little extra camber than he started with here. And
Yeah, they were
looks like-
so close that it wouldn't surprise me if some net code turned Carl.
yeah.
And Carl's doing the crab walk.
Well, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it from a different angle, so Carl came around that corner and had to take a hard left
Yep.
to go around Terry, so then he just fishtailed around it.
Yep. That's what it
And,
looked
yeah.
like.
Well, he must have made netcode contact because he was crab walking all the way back to the pits. So he did get collision.
Must have hit something. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he
That's
had
a
a splitters
shame.
with Terry, but I guess netcode caught him out. They said they're fixing it. I mean, it's never a perfect science, I guess, but unfortunate. And James
Well,
Foreman.
that has opened the door for Nicholas Pletty, who's just had a quiet night of driving around. Looks like we got another car. James Foreman did a little bit of 2-track in here, it looks like. As he is off.
Yeah, that's rough. I was just getting ready to talk about the incidents. And before that happened, Terry was still at 0 looking at some bonus points. But that's tough.
Yep.
Incidents are pretty good, I think.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say is even though it's a new track and a track that not a lot of these guys are familiar with, just like last week, these guys are obeying the rules and keeping it clean.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had 3X before I ended up just calling it quits, and I thought I might have still been in there. But looking at it now, we have 0, 2, 2, 2. That would have been like a 3-way tie for 5th. So man, even 3X on this tricky track.
Yeah.
I guess it still wasn't good enough for me. So
Everybody's probably wondering why we didn't do these rules a long time ago.
Right? Mark, when you jumped in the booth, we had a battle between Paul Skip and Ryan Tyler, and then Ryan Tyler had an incident and then was 6 seconds behind. Don't look, but he's managed to cut that gap in half.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe Paul Skip is catching traffic at inopportune times or what that might be. Because Ryan Tyler, I mean, last time by, he was only a 1/10 of a second faster. So
Yep.
I don't. My guess is maybe Paul Skip has had some lap traffic, caught him in bad times, but we'll see how it shakes out here in about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yep. We're about 22 minutes left, 21 and a half minutes to go here at round 10, Phillip Island Endurance for Amateurs on the Pony Express YouTube channel. I'm your host, JR Kopp, with a couple guest co-hosts tonight. Owner, operator, and extraordinaire Mark Dillon Jr. and administrator extraordinaire Zachary Nurnberger. Thanks for joining me in the booth tonight, gentlemen. I appreciate it. It was getting kind of lonely in here.
Yeah, I know what it's like to broadcast solo. I used to do it a lot. But we definitely appreciate you doing this on Mondays and Wednesdays.
definitely.
Well, I am,
I've had people in here and it's still tough, so I can only imagine.
Yeah. I appreciate trying to get all the racing I can in before spring rolls around and I disappear to the golf course.
Yeah, apparently we didn't know you were the Tiger Woods of the league.
I don't know if I would call myself the Tiger Woods of anything. I've crashed a few cars like Tiger, I can tell you that much.
At this point, Tiger's son probably golfs better than us.
Oh, I guarantee you he'll beat me. I wouldn't have any doubt in that. I've watched Charlie play golf quite a few times, and he is he's something else, boy.
What,
I just regressed to just using neon colored balls because I know I'm gonna be finding them for most of my round. So.
Oh, not me. I just buy a bunch of range balls, and if I don't even bother looking anymore.
That's where the best courses are the ones where you have like the range that kind of plays up
The
next to
real
the
range balls.
Because then every time you just swing the golf cart past there, it's just grab a couple of these.
Oh, reckon.
Is it-
What do we
Right in front
got?
of Ryan Tyler. That was Carlos Ramos. Spun out right in front of Ryan Tyler, went off in the grass. He is at 22x, so
I was
believe
just going to say.
I think he's got a drive-through coming up.
Oh. Ryan Tyler managed to get by that. There's nothing
Tell you
worse
what,
than
man. Turn
being
your
up there near the front and having a slower guy spin out in front of you.
Yeah, especially when you're, 2 seconds off the lead trying to catch him.
Yeah, just a severe pucker moment. But no, I am definitely not the Tiger Woods of golf, but I do play a lot of golf, and I coach a lot of golf, and I teach a lot of golf.
Well, you
What's the old saying? Those that
you
can't
must know
do,
something, then.
teach.
You must know something.
Yeah, I'm twice the golf coach as I am the golf player.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm running the league, because I can't drive, so
See?
I just make the rules in the schedule.
I just ping everybody till they're annoyed, and then drop in the booth after I get 10. Someone's got to do it.
Where do we race next week? Is it Daytona?
Yes,
I don't
Daytona
know,
next
but
week.
I imagine so.
Yes.
Oh, I might have to try my hand again, since tonight didn't work out.
Did you catch the grass, Mark? I didn't actually see what ended up happening to you.
Yeah, I had 4 off tracks where I touched the grass, and finally I was like, all right, well, I have 4X. I'm obviously not proving anything. I'm just done. I didn't have any damage or anything. I could have kept going, but my whole point was I was trying to prove that you could do it without X's, and I just kept racking them up. So.
That's all right. It's Phillip
Right.
Island, apparently.
I didn't have any practice, and the GTE, believe it or not, is a little tricky to drive.
You don't say. I remember I tried to drive that in Motegi after our whole LMP debacle, and I quickly realized this is not for me.
Jimmy Covert's had an incident. See what happened to Mr. Covert?
Oh yeah, in that downhill sharp right-hand turn there.
Yep.
That is tricky. I can't get the power to the ground after that turn
Oh,
when you're
he's
trying to
able
make that left
Speaking
to get on the
of-
straightaway.
the man, Mr. Tony Watson, up 9 positions. He does. There's nothing. It seems like there's nothing spectacular about what Tony does, but after an hour and 22 minutes, here he is, 4th place. You know, up 9 spots. What a great race! Once again, he's just consistent. He's clean. He doesn't get himself in trouble.
There's a reason
no,
to call him
and
the Iron Man.
This is the Tony we had, in season 1 when he was battling you for race wins.
Yes.
Whenever Carter didn't show up.
Yeah. Thanks.
But yeah, and I think Tony's just had some bad luck this season. Obviously he came from GTE, dropped back down to GT3, and I think he's just had some bad luck and some run-ins. But no, like I said earlier, he is a very clean driver.
Yep, very clean, very consistent. Up 9 positions again. I think the last race I did at Interlagos, he was up like 12 positions. He's there. He runs great laps. He never puts himself in a spot to get in trouble. That's one of the great things about Tony, and that's what makes him such a great endurance teammate. You know, you're going to give him the car, and he's going to give it back to you almost in the exact same condition. Unlike Zach and I. And others.
I was just going to say, unlike me, because I don't think I've given you a good car yet.
That's
Look
okay.
at that. So I can tell you guys, old buddy I used to race with NR 2003, he just chimed in on the live chat on the broadcast. Old Billy Burns, he is in Australia, so we're racing in his home country right now. Glad to see him tuning in. Also, we have a good battle shaping up for the top 5 here. Daniel Hingley, Patrick Ripley, Nick Terrell. Never mind, they just wrecked.
Oh, Patrick Ripley. Let's see what happened.
Hingley spun out and Ripley T-boned him.
T-boned him.
Nick Terrell got by both of them.
Hingley's got an off track. Yep. And poor. And those guys were having such a great battle.
Yeah, I couldn't even finish telling you guys that they were battling and they wrecked.
Well, take a look
Paul
at
Skip. Looks like Paul Skip has had an issue. Got together with Jimmy Covert.
See if we can see what happened. It didn't. Jimmy's had an off track and. Oh, yep. Paul said, "Excuse me, get out of the way."
He apologized. He didn't.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it looked like Covert. That's that corner that Zach was talking about.
Yep.
Where guys were having issues in the GT3 car, and you could tell that going through that corner, Covert had to lift and slow down. And I can tell you that the GTE cars aren't having that issue.
And you know what? You have the giant striped blue curb on the inside, but you have no context on the outside. In fact, there's actually dirt rubbed in across the track, kind of blending it in. And I wonder if Paul might have thought that Jimmy had a little more room than he did. And like you said, Jimmy had to check up a little bit just to get that thing around there. And I wonder if it was just kind of 6 in the 1 there. You know, it was running out of track, running out of grip, all that at the wrong time. And I think just a little tap. Just
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Well, hopefully that didn't cause any damage to Paul's car. And
Yeah, I can actually take a look right now. Patrick Ripley
14 minutes to
confirmed has
go.
no damage on the front bumper. either.
Ryan Tyler is all over his bumper, though.
yeah, he is right there.
Paul Skip looks like he just has a tiny crinkle on the right-hand side.
Okay.
Patrick Ripley's car looks fine from his incident. So it looks like everyone's hanging in there.
And I've noticed on a lot of these corners, these two have significantly different lines coming into some of these corners. Seems like Ryan has a much wider line. As Ryan's going to go for
here
the
we go.
lead. He's going to have the inside. Paul is not giving it up, though. Paul powers around the outside. Nice move. Nice clean driving. That's what we like to see here at Pony Express.
12 minutes to go.
You know, they race for an hour and 27 minutes only to find themselves within 2/10 of each other.
I always think that's the craziest thing, man. Especially
Mark
you get
Thomas
like
is disconnected.
Bathurst, we spent 12 hours to be separated by under a minute at the end of the race.
Yep.
Oh, man. But that's awesome. This is stuff you
To
want
be
to see.
separated by a tow truck for the win.
Yeah.
Or a tow truck for the podium.
Hey, at least it was at the end. At least we didn't dump it in the middle. So we got a third.
Yep.
I can't complain. If you would told me we would have gotten third before that started, I would have took it and ran.
Yes. As you see there, and you saw how Tony just pulled over, let those guys go by, knew that that was a battle for the lead.
We can steal some slipstream, why not?
Yep. But it also didn't cost Tony any time. You know, he didn't have to get off of his normal racing line.
You know, I always kind of felt like that was a underrated aspect of endurance racing is traffic management. I think a lot of people get caught up in like the hot lap and
Yep.
fuel saving, tire saving, all that stuff, and for good reason. Obviously, you have to drive the fastest to win.
Yeah,
so
Ryan
hold on.
Tyler's going to try
Ryan
to make
Tyler
that
going for the lead
looking
again.
up
Look,
inside
he's just
again.
fine. Wonder if he's going to wait for you to a little bit better slipstream. But like I was saying, I always think traffic management is underrated. I mean, people always just want to be the fastest one out there, but there's a lot to letting cars by quicker.
Yes. Yep.
I mean,
knowing
you
how to
can
get
save so much time by just breaking a tiny bit early. Like Sean always talks about, breaking early, getting tucked in behind him, take the slipstream. You can gain more time doing that than you can probably do it by fine tuning your setup and all that stuff. I mean, that's a good example right there from Tony. Just staying clean, consistent, getting out of the way, and we got ourselves a race in our hands. That's for sure.
Yeah, we do.
Went back,
These guys,
went back and looked at the replay. It looked like Mark Thomas spun out in that same left uphill GT3 trouble area and decided to call it a night.
it looks like we're a battle of attrition here in GT3 tonight. And
I
GTE.
mean,
we're gonna
not a lot
be-
of incidents, but I tell you what, people are just going to be one and done here.
Yeah, this track, I don't know if it's the elevation changes on this track but people might be coming out of here with a bad taste in their mouth about this new GT3 build.
It'd be interesting Daytona. You get those nice long straights. The tires will not stay too warm, and the next thing you know, you got to throw it down through the infield. Low downforce,
that
a little bit less
corner
wind than
one
normal.
is gonna be a nightmare.
I mean, we thought the entrance to the banking was slippery already. After the double horseshoes, you were sliding around then. I can't imagine it now with these new tires, but I guess we're about to find out in a week. So
Now, where is NASCAR Friday night, gentlemen?
It's in our home track, Michigan.
Now, does the iRacing model of Michigan have all of the usual trash issues? Oh, Ryan Tyler
Spun out.
spun out.
no damage. Tony Watson just behind him. He's gonna even let off. Very kind of Tony there.
Yep. Let Ryan Tyler back. Oh, that's twice tonight Ryan's had issues.
Man, we know it with 5 minutes. It's not looking
Oh.
good, but never say never. That's the one thing I've learned.
Yes.
I've seen crazy stuff happen with less time. So
Yeah. Yeah, Bathurst.
Oh, so you know what? You see that dirt building up on the right edge of the track there? He touched those marbles and he went
That
around.
was it.
I'm actually taking a peek now, and you're exactly right. Yep, I think it's the same thing. I think that curb ended and he caught just a bit, and then just like you said, Mark, once he hit the marbles, it's over.
So there you go, 8.5 to go, and now Paul Skip with a 9-second lead.
Yep. You knew Paul's probably breathing a little sigh of relief there. He was having a great battle, but man, it's nice to have that breathing room sometimes. You just get to relax just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't see any battles going on now.
Yeah, I was trying to see Nicholas
everyone's
Bloody,
Pretty
and
spaced
Claybaugh,
out.
relatively
Yeah.
close, but I think everyone's just trying to
Just Benjamin
fight
Morales
off the
just
attrition.
Oh, you know
walking
what?
away.
So, can you do something for me? I actually had some requests over the past couple weeks. Could we hop into Benjamin Morales' cockpit and see how he gets around this track so fast?
Of course.
I have to verify
Let's-
the game files.
Let's take a lap here with Mr. Morales. We are on the back half of the track right now. Hopefully Benjamin doesn't get upset we're giving away all the secrets. And there you see that dirt on the side there. And here's that corner we talked about, Mark, where it seems like all the GT3 guys are having issues.
Well, like I said, they did talk a whole bunch about getting rid of some of that low speed downforce, and I think that is Exhibit A right there. One of the slowest spots in the track, and it seems to be the slipperiest. So I wonder if we'll see.
Wow.
You know, we're talking about
All
Daytona
right.
and the horseshoe.
So
Interesting.
here we are coming around, take the start finish line.
Oh,
Oh, you hear him.
he's at the top of Terry, did not know the
Yep.
stairs behind him.
Yeah, that right there, that's what you just talked about that, Zach. That is how you learn how to let people pass you. And that's such a big thing of endurance racing, is how to get past. Not only how to pass, but how to get past.
Yeah, no one wants to be passed, but there's definitely ways to do it, and just you got to realize you're never gonna fend these guys off. I mean, sometimes you know, Mark's been there before. Sometimes P1 spins out in the first lap and they're down in P45. They're down a couple laps, and you see them in the relative, and you don't want to let them pass. But you got to realize that if cars are faster, cars are faster. You know, you're only slowing yourself down by trying to fight everybody out there.
Correct.
Yeah, so the way I treat racing, and I'm sure this is not the proper racing mindset. I should probably be a lot more aggressive and block and whatnot. But the way I look at it is the same way I look at driving down the highway. You know, I'm always checking my mirrors. I know who's behind me. If I see a car a mile back and a few minutes later he's caught up to me, clearly he's going faster. Well, I'm not gonna battle him. I'm gonna let him go. And I treat racing the same way. If somebody, they didn't just teleport to your back bumper.
No.
At some point in time, they obviously chased you down. They're faster than you. Me personally, I'm just gonna let you go. If I get by you later, great. But you didn't teleport there, and I know that.
Well, not everyone thinks that apparently. So, but hey, you know what? That's their loss.
Well, we're on board here with Benjamin Morales, and he is, his tire marks are the same on every lap so far. He is clipping just enough of the inside curb, running it just wide enough.
He's just so fast through 1 and 2, and just able to carry so much speed. I think that's one of the big keys to his lap
Yep.
times.
Meanwhile, Ryan Tyler is really closing that gap again.
Yeah, he is.
Picking up about a quarter of a second a lap. What about, do we have the gyro cam? Can we see what
Oh.
Ryan Tyler's doing trying to catch up?
Did you get that? That request sounds like a familiar request.
People like that gyro cam, man.
They
Especially
do.
on these elevation changes.
And Ryan Tyler's back past Paul Skip. Did Paul Skip lose some time somewhere?
Paul Skip had an off track. Let's jump over to that real quick.
Oh, they just touched. Going in turn 1.
Paul coming down. Oh, you can see he's locked it up. Oh no. Paul locked it up going into that downhill right-hander.
Oh, well, what did I tell you, JR? I said
Yep.
I've seen crazier things happen with less time, and
Well, we would
hope
love
you
to
didn't think
stay
so.
in the gyro cam here, but I think we're gonna jump back out.
Paul Skip's definitely not finished.
No, 3.5 minutes to go. These guys got a couple more laps. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Now, Ryan's been a little bit faster for most of the race. You know, just a tenth or two here and there, so...
Oh no, Patrick Ripley was up there battling for a top 5 spot. He's got a drive-through penalty.
Oh,
Hit that 20X.
look at Paul is all over the back of Ryan Tyler. Let's see if we can get a draft coming down this front street. And these guys are going to run into a little bit of traffic here.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who that's ahead of him. Aaron Claybaugh, who's no stranger to the fast driving, so
And Aaron
he's got a race of his
Claybaugh,
own to win.
who may not be on the oh, look at Paul Skip he is all over, sawing the back of that wheel.
Yeah, I think Paul Skip is just better in the high-speed stuff,
Yep.
and I think Ryan's better in the low-speed stuff. So,
But we should really mention Aaron Claybaugh real
22.
fast. Is he had an off track like lap 3, and he was at the back of the field, Zach, last place, and has managed to work himself up to a podium position.
There you go. Aaron Claybaugh's going to lift, tuck in right behind.
Yep.
And both cars through cleanly, so we're going to have a good battle here. And I think they have a pretty decent gap ahead of them.
Yep. I think that's going to be the last of the traffic issues.
Daniel Hingley being the next car ahead, but it's also GTE.
Because we're going to stay with this battle. I know those guys. Paul Boyle probably would. He likes to watch the gyro cam.
Yeah, Bryce used to like it
Bryce
too.
loves it too. Yep. Bryce would always request the gyro cam. So Bryce, I apologize if you watched the broadcast. We were in the gyro cam, but this is a battle here for the lead and the victory tonight in GTE. Both of these guys have had their incidents, and both of them have managed to stick around the top despite having some issues. And this is where Paul Skip usually pulls right up on the back. Running
Looks
a
like
little
David
bit wider
Lehman.
line.
David Lehman going to come up just short of a podium finish. He was running a second a lap faster than Terry, but he's still about 4 seconds back.
And one thing to actually note, I was actually just checking the track map, and that low-speed right-hander coming down the hill, wherever all the GT3
Oh, he locked it up. Leader locked it
There
up.
he is.
Yep.
He's gonna
Paul Skip's
keep
going to
it
be on the
ahead.
inside. Is he? Nope, not able to make it.
I was saying that right-hander,
Oh,
come off
Paul's
the
gonna-
crest.
Showing him
man.
the bumper.
Yeah, I think he's just waiting maybe to get in this back straight.
Oh, look
and
at
see-
he is right on the bumper. Going to run it in a little bit wide, try to carry some momentum.
It should be coming to the white flag.
This right-hander right here, they're actually turning into a nice big headwind, and I wonder if that's also upsetting the car balance a little bit for some of these guys. I just realized it's getting pretty gusty, 13, 14 mile per hour winds head on in that slow speed corner, and I wonder if that's just caught a couple of people.
Mark, are we getting the white flag here?
Should be.
Yep. Was that
It
the
is
checker
looking
flag?
like it.
Oh, white flag.
Okay.
Yep.
It looked like the checker flag on... Oh, and here comes Paul. Well, this is a great... I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting nervous watching this race.
And I know Paul's going to make it clean. There's going to be no shenanigans, bump pass, nothing like that. So we're going to have ourselves a good finish.
We come into this hairpin here.
No lockups, nice and clean. Everyone on the power,
So,
avoiding the curbs.
looks like the last place to pass is going to be that downhill
I
tight
think they're going to send it
right-hander.
up here. I think that he's going to have to get him up the hill, I think. Unless he can really get some power down, pulling onto the back straight. The start-finish line is a little bit further down. I think he's going to have to do it here, and he doesn't make a look.
Nope. Just not close enough. Like, Ryan's just a little bit quicker through this tight, twisty section.
Oh!
Oh!
And you know what? He pulled out to the right-hand side. He's about to hit him, and he didn't want to take it like that. And
Yeah.
I think he just stuck the brakes.
Still got time though. Get back on the track and pull it P2. Meanwhile, Lehman got by. Uh-oh, Terry's had trouble. Big trouble. Lehman going to take a podium spot. I don't know what happened to Terry, but he
Terry,
lost
we're going to look here.
seconds.
Terry just locks it up, runs it a little bit wide, and catches the dirt, unfortunately. And that's going to give David Lehman a podium finish.
Lehman with a podium, our points leader.
That was an awesome race.
And that's going to let him maintain the lead in the points so far this season.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Benjamin Morales is going to take the checker flag. No surprise to anybody. And down a little bit further, let's see here. Nicholas Pletty is going to come home in second place.
Here's a stat for you. Only 2 GT3 cars. Only one car finished on the same lap as Benjamin Morales. So they are the whole entire GT3 field is eliminated from bonus points. Only Benjamin Morales and Nicholas Paletti will get them because everybody else was a lap behind them.
Yeah, man, those two absolutely drove the wheels off that thing. And also, I want to give a shout out to both Jimmy Covert and Tony Watson. I think they had a couple incidents, especially early on, and they powered home to a P4 and 5 in class respectively. And I mean, we've all been there before. Sometimes, spinning in the first couple laps, that's no fun. But to keep your head down and have the race that they did is absolutely fantastic.
Yes, that was some great racing by everybody tonight.
And a good bounce back race by Nami Lei too. I think he's had a few incidents that weren't really of his own doing, and come out here P6. I'm sure he's super excited about that one. He really deserves it. He's been, working hard all season.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop out of here. I know you've got 4 people down there waiting for post-race interviews, so I'll let you get to it.
Zach, who should we grab first tonight? Should we let's grab our overall leader, Mr. Ryan Tyler. What do you say?
Let's go for it.
Do not trust
Mr. Ryan Tyler, the man of the evening, the overall winner tonight here at Phillip Island. What a great race, Ryan Tyler. I know that had to look and feel pretty exciting from your point of view. What can you tell us about how that amazing race went?
Oh, so many ups and downs. It was ups. I was following Paul nicely. I make a mistake, fall 6 seconds back, do a pit stop. I managed to gain a little bit of time in the pit stop and then get up with him again, throw it away. And then Paul had a bit of issue at the last couple of laps. And yeah, what a race, man. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Now, you and Paul battled, right to the very end. It was little mistakes here, little mistakes there. And we saw a lot of guys tonight have just those little bit of incidents. How hard was Phillip Island tonight? How difficult was the track?
That's so tricky. You're concentrating for pretty much the whole way around apart from the start-finish line, but the tyres just take an absolute beating in here. And on the last stint, it was tricky. I definitely had more tyres than Paul. Paul looked like he was struggling, and but yeah, just managed to keep it together just about, and I'm sure it was a good race to watch on the broadcast as well.
Oh, without a doubt. It was absolutely amazing. Well, now you got a little momentum going into next week Daytona, which is an entirely different animal. How are you, or what are your thoughts going into that?
I wish I could do it. I'm actually going to Sebring next week, so I will not be doing Daytona, but I'm sure it'll be a great race. It's a lot trickier than here with probably the closing speeds. The closing speeds around here was the difference between a GT3 and GTE wasn't so bad. The Daytona is going to be a little bit more tricky with the closing speeds, but should be good. Should be a good race. It always does at Daytona.
Yeah, that's correct. It should be a little bit, especially going into corner 1 there. Well, congratulations, Ryan Tyler. You put on a great show tonight, a great race between you and Mr. Paul Skip. Who's responsible for getting you into victory lane tonight?
I want to say the E4A, Pony Express, the guys. I look forward to this every Wednesday night, and it feels good to have a good result. And then just like family and friends who put up with me spending multiple hours on this thing. And you guys, good to have you back, JR.
Great. Well, it's nice to be back, Ryan, and congratulations. And enjoy Sebring, and we look to get you back here shortly.
Sounds good. Take care. Thanks tonight.
Yes, well, there we have your overall winner, Ryan Tyler. So let's go grab the winner of GT3. What do you say there, Zach?
Mr. Benjamin Morales.
I'll let you do this one, Zach.
How you doing, Ben? Congratulations on your win, first and foremost.
Hey, thank you so much.
Now, of course, the big question after the update is the new handling model, damage model, the tires. It seems like the only thing left is the carbon fiber left in the car after the last update. How did the new build, as well as the last second setup changes with the heavier fuel, how do you think that went down?
I think that I know there's been a lot of discussion regarding that new model. I think the new model is more realistic. The cars, they feel like they're on rails, and the tire wear is a real concern at this point. I'd say about 75% in, I got a warning from my spotter letting me know that the tire temperatures in the back rear was way too high. And so I did look at it, and it was running at about 208, which is exceptionally high. And so that new model, I think, entirely changes endurance, but I think it's one more added step of immersion in the right direction.
Yeah, I just want to let it be said, I was complaining about it, and I'm not the only one, because even the winner complained about it, so I can't be that crazy. I mean, I know I was getting just over 200, and that thing started stepping out through turn one, and tell you what, it was not a lot of fun. But with that being said, also 0x, did you have a particular approach? I know you got a lot of high-speed stuff. It was a kind of an unknown. Did you kind of come into this with a more conservative game plan, or was it just kind of getting settled in and seeing how it went?
A few things. I really try to make no mistakes, like absolutely none, and I think that's the right way to approach any race. I know on my fuel saving strategy, I always am. I'm not shifting generally at high RPMs. I tend to shift quite low because over the course of 30, 40, 50 laps, I can actually pit stop 1 or 2 laps later than everyone else. And so I think that was an advantage today. I know, Carl was at the start hounding me. I was under immense pressure here. He made me fry my tires very quickly. He was just stuck in the draft. I could not get rid of him. And so that definitely wore out the car. And actually, at one point, he overtook. And, I kept him within a second, and I think he lost the back of the car on turn 2. But yeah, it's endurance. It's just that's the name of the game. Minimal mistakes, run fast times, and just do your best.
Absolutely. You can never win from the pits. So I guess before we move on, next week, Daytona, they did talk about reducing some of the low-speed grip. It looks like a lot of the GT3 struggles with that. We all know the dangers of the International Horseshoe, getting onto the oval banking. How do you think that's going to play out next week? You looking forward to it, or maybe looking ahead to the next one? What's your thoughts on Daytona?
Hey, Daytona's Daytona, man. Anything can happen. It's a super fun race. Just recently watched it on TV. I think we all did, and it's just a fantastic racetrack. Really fun to run. So I look forward to it.
Well, with that being said, before we let you go here, anyone you want to thank?
Like I said last time I got interviewed, thank my wife. She puts up with this terrible addiction and habit called sim racing, and so without her, I don't think I'd be able to enjoy this. So definitely give props to her and my family. So
well, congratulations. Go soak it up, and we'll see you at Daytona.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, there is your GT3 winner by a long shot, Mr. Benjamin Morales. And we are going to grab our second place tonight in GTE, Mr. Paul Skip, and see what his thoughts are. Mr. Paul Skip, I know you have to be excited for the great race and also disappointed. I'll just let you talk from there, Paul.
Yep, the only one to blame is me. I threw that one away. Bad tire strategy. I finished the race with 12% on my right front, and every left-hand corner, it was just plowing through there like a pickup truck, and every right hand corner it was locking that right front in the braking zone. Those two sharp rights, and then that one at the bottom of the hill, at before the penultimate corner, just it got me. It totally got me.
Yeah, we watched, and you and Ryan had an amazing race. You guys were little mistakes here, little mistakes there, and it was nonstop. And he had mentioned that as well. He goes, I think Paul was pretty much riding around on some bricks there. Now,
Yeah, skates I think would be a good
skates. Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to Daytona next week. Not quite the same track, but you're still going to have a lot of those high-speed braking areas, especially turn one and the slippery International Horseshoe. How do you think it's going to go next week for you?
Well, if I can survive turn one and not get hit, because I think the last 3 times we've been there, I got hit at turn one all 3 times, and it took me out of the race. So if I can not do that, I think I'll do pretty good.
Well, great. Well, thanks for putting on an amazing show tonight, Paul. You and Ryan put on a battle that I'm sure if you go back and watch, you'll see that, yes, you made a few mistakes, but so did everybody else. And we really appreciate the show you guys put on tonight. Nice, clean racing, something that that we've been striving for here at Pony Express, and you really did a good example of making that happen tonight.
Well, thank you. Speaking of clean racing, I'd like to apologize to who did I
Jimmy
hit?
Colbert.
Jimmy, yeah, I gotta apologize to Jimmy. That was 100% my fault. The skates were not working for me, and I didn't know what he was gonna do. So I just kind of stayed on the outside, and then we made contact, and I spotted him. Totally my fault. I apologize, Jimmy. Sorry, man.
Well, we appreciate that, Paul. And before we let you go and get out of here, who we thanking tonight, Paul, for getting you here?
Well, I think it's time to thank my dad. He's the one that kind of put the racing bug in my blood. So been up here with you guys a few times. So I think it's time to thank him. Love you, Dad. Hope you enjoy the show.
Great. Well, you put on a good one, Paul. Congratulations, and hopefully we'll speak to you again next week.
Thanks, JR.
All right, Zach. Let's go grab Mr. Nicholas Paletti and see what he thinks. What do you say?
Yeah, we'll bring him on here. Nicholas Paletti, how you doing?
Tired, but doing all right. How about you guys?
We are
We're
doing
hanging
good,
in there.
Nicholas.
Well,
Go
Nick,
ahead,
that was a
Zach.
heck of a race to watch. You looked like you had it pretty locked down ahead of your teammate Aaron there. Benjamin proven to be really fast. I guess the main question is, just like we asked Mr. Morales, is how do you think it fared out there with the new build underneath your feet for the first time?
I mean, I wish I would have had a little bit more time to practice, and I didn't realize the GT3s were getting a new build on yesterday, so I practiced a lot. Car felt really good. I'm like, yep, I feel confident. And then Tuesday rolls around and you have to relearn it. So I think that caught a lot of people out, and I think that was part of it. But the new cars it's really fun. You can catch slides now at high speeds way, way better than you could. And I had two pretty big slides and was able to catch them. And I think if it would have happened on the old build, those would have been race ending, definitely. So it was enjoyable. But I'm looking forward to actually getting like a full week of practice with the build before going in.
Well, with that being said, next race for me practicing for is Daytona. What are your thoughts on that coming up? I know a lot of people have a lot of experience in that track. Obviously, very popular. All those 24s. You probably know short in practice there. What are your thoughts on that coming up? How do you think you're going to fare?
I mean, it's not my favorite track. I think honestly, I get kind of bored there. Aside from turn one, the rest of it's kind of just, I don't know. It's a road course inside of an oval, but it's still a fun track when you get a lot of people on there. It's fun to race people. Usually, at least from last year or last season, and from what I've heard, it's usually pretty chaotic. So hopefully, we'll get some good racing and maybe even some tighter battles up front with probably a bigger field as well. So Yeah, looking forward to it though.
Yeah, and, Daytona is no stranger to Slipstream. Run that oval. You got the new build going on there. Maybe that changes the parameters a little bit, but we'll have some good fun. Pack racing, but maybe not the super speedway everyone else is thinking of.
Yeah.
With that being said, you got the NERB 24 Sebring, so any time in the car there is good. So I think a lot of us are looking forward to coming out there next week, getting the car underneath our feet for a good full week of practice.
Yeah.
And everyone will bring their A game, so that'll be a lot of fun. But before we let you go here, is there anyone you want to thank or give a shout out to?
Yeah, definitely. My teammate Aaron really pushed me this week. I mean, he was faster than me before the build change, and he was still like right on me when we were going into practice. So we really had a good time pushing each other this week, and just all the championship rivals over with the core guys, Jimmy, Mark, and goodness gracious, sorry, and Thomas. All those guys are great fun to battle with, and looking forward to the end of the season.
Absolutely. Can't wait to everyone, get some time in, get a good handle on these things, and we'll have a strong finish to the final rest of the season. We definitely have good points battles all over the place. So be looking forward to it, and we will see you next week.
All right, see you then.
Well, Zach, there we have all of our victors from tonight. Congratulations to all those guys. And I just want to give a big shout out to Aaron Clayball. By hands down, the driver of the race for me tonight. To go from second to last, all the way back up to third position that's just driving, driving how you're supposed to. That's some great driving. So that was my my driver and my racer of the night by hands down for me.
Absolutely, it's no mean task, and even if you have the skill to do it, the mental game is in and of itself its own separate battle. So,
correct,
definitely tough.
All right, Zach. Well, we are out of here. We will catch you again Friday night, NASCAR for amateurs, and I will have you in the booth on Friday night for the podcast. And we will be back here next Wednesday live from Daytona, round 11, Endurance for Amateurs on Pony Express. So make sure everybody comes back and checks us out. We appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you will like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell button to get notified anytime we got a race coming on. We got a lot of stuff going on here. So please come back and check us out. We appreciate it.